Thriller! 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 No? So scared. Tell me a story. And Alfonso said, I will tell you a story. And he began. It was a dark and stormy night. 3 men sat around a campfire. One said to the other one there, Alfonso, Alfonso, tell me. Okay, I know it's a bad intro. Slowly, it approaches me. Tall and hairy, smelling foul. As I look upon it, I realize the creature's over 8 foot tall. Muscles bulgy, frightened to death, seeing this creature of myth and legend. What does it want from me? The creature spoke. Trick or treat.
All right, I am going to try and mix spooky with herd, which is difficult because the best ghost stories are whispered around a campfire, not shouted to a crowd. But we'll see what happens. I find the best ghost stories are true stories with a moral. That is what this is. When I was younger, I was kept late at school for tomfoolery, as is the wont of small boys. So I had to stay behind, clean all of the chalkboards, lighter. The smell of freshly baked bread and dinner cascaded into my nose. Everything felt brighter. I felt fine. As I turned around to close the door, I saw a shadow pass across the street, as though the light streaming through the door was the sun. A cloud had just finished passing over it.
I want to tell you guys a story about my great-grandfather twice removed. Back in the old country. Back in the old country, his name was Finnegan McConnor. My goodness, line goes, story goes, that one night, he was an Irish revolutionary. On the top of his game, he was ready to fight the British off with Easter. Cheese. But not like the cheese you really want, like that old rotting cheese. Oh, and he knew something was wrong when that happened. He said, "How much did I have?" I had 23 keys, not beers, 23 keys, right? Ready to think clearly. And he sees it again. Sees Cheese Man holding his head. And he's like, "Dude, quit holding the cheese up! It smells so bad!" And then it all hits him. No, that's his head, and now you can see him.
Today I will be telling you the story of the ghost of winter, Mr. Jack Frost himself. Now, our story begins with a family. It was a mother who had lost her husband and had 2 daughters. The eldest was much like her, and so she was the favorite of her children. The youngest was beautiful and kind and nothing like her mother, and so she hated her. Now, in town it was well known that out in the fields, as the frost settled in, Jack Frost comes to play. But be careful, for if he takes your hand, you will not be taking another breath. On the doorstep of her mother is most cross, and when she opens her mouth to explain herself, a diamond, beautiful and pure, falls from her lips as she speaks. Well, I played with winter. I met Jack Frost, and it was a lovely time. And the mother says, "Ah," and she looks at her oldest daughter, and she says, You must get this gift too, and then we could marry you to a rich man, and you could have the life that you deserve." And that is how our tale ends.
Well, I know everybody's telling some scary tales today, but I'm going to tell something that happened to me actually in real life. A long time ago. Back when I was a little bit of a rebellious teenager, I was about 16 years old. Sometimes I'd sneak out of the house and I would drink a lot of tea with my friend Finnegan. He was a really nice guy. A little Irish, but either way, my parents got really upset at me doing this too often, and winter break came around. I'm like, no, you're not sneaking out anymore. We're gonna send you to your grandmother's house, way over the California Lost Coast. What does it have, those nice cliffs and ocean and all that stuff over there? Just to kind of get away from it all and maybe, calm down. So I, creaky step by creaky step, opened my door and looked down the hall. Ding, ding, ding. I slowly make my way down. I hear my grandmother sleeping in the other room. She's a pretty loud snorer, so anytime she snored, you'd actually hear like the pictures on the wall rattle going by. So I'm going down. Luckily she could hear the creaks. I go down the steps. I see my grandmother. I told you, do not open that door. And down these stairs I went, and suddenly I hear the crashing of a sleigh behind me. And it sounds like, I don't know, at least 12 creatures rushing down the stairs, going towards me. I go out the door. There's a storm in the middle of this night. Water's hitting me, pelting me in the face. I don't know where I'm going. I just know I need to escape whatever this was. And I run just kind of any direction I can think of. Well, sadly, I ran to the cliffside. And I'm looking down, I see the ocean. I turn, and this thing is all I see is that one red light moving my way. And eventually, it gets close enough, and it stops, and it starts to illuminate this large figure stepping out of what only can be described as a slave. Boom, boom. I see his feet, and I'm freaking out, so I get down. Please, whatever you do, don't hurt me. I get down. Suddenly, I see black boots, red pants. Moving up, I look and see a belt buckle. And I guess this guy really likes red. Just a lot of red, a lot of, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, honestly, he was about as big as I am nowadays. Either way, I look up at this guy, and I just see this almost like frostbitten nose, and big white beard, and he reaches down with that monster.
All right. So the story that I have today is one that actually did happen in a little place called Flatwoods, Virginia. I believe it was Virginia. I think. The details are going to be a little bit fuzzy as I'm pulling this from memory, but it started when a mother woke up and looked out her window. It was the middle of the night, and normally her house was situated on a hill near the woods, right at the base of a mountain. But she knows that their kids are safer with her than they are alone, especially out here in the woods. And so eventually, they make their way up to the top. It's at that moment that the kids finally look to their mother and they say, I'm feeling a little bit sick. I feel a little nauseous. And she tries to tell them, don't worry, there's nothing to worry about. We're just gonna see what this is, make sure everything's okay, and we're gonna head right back down. Then they both keep saying, I feel nauseous. I don't feel good. And their dog begins to whine, begins to paw at the ground. He doesn't look so good either. The closer they're getting to this red light, the sicker and sicker they begin to feel. But at this point, curiosity is a far stronger motivator than an upset stomach. They get to the top, and they look around at the trees. It looks like some of them are snapped in two. Near the top, and then further down, the length of the tree. It's as if something plowed through. A big crash. There's little bits and pieces of wood on the ground, still fresh from the flames that engulfed them.
The whole top of this mountain is ashy, as if something crashed and burned here. Pieces of debris. Until they reach the mound. It's a big black shape right at the top of the mountain. There's bits and pieces of what look like machinery? Little pieces of pipe, small shards of metal. And then as they get closer and closer, crackle a little bit. It's almost like TV static in their eyes. And this shape begins to move upwards, the hissing growing louder and louder. These two eyes set at the top of what looks like a spade for a head, like a playing card. Its body, metallic, like a curtain for a shower, but almost as if it was made of tinfoil. Its hands, right? The hissing is louder and louder. The sick feeling starts penetrating their ribs. Their vision begins to go blurry, and finally this hissing thing lets out an unimaginable sound, almost like a scream. And then finally, they had the sensibility to run the opposite direction. Down the hill they went. Not a single word did mother or child say to each other. The dog obviously didn't say anything. They get back, they lock the doors. With the morning comes bravery. So mother and both children and the dog all venture back up to the mountain. And they get to the top. And nothing is there. No ash, no burnt trees, no destroyed rubble, no debris, no metallic nonsense, no hissing, no sick feeling. Everything is gone. They go back down, and they don't know what to do. We've had quite a few good ghost stories tonight, but this all reminds me of a lovely little ghost story that I myself have written.
Oh, is it the one about the horseman?
Spoilers! Well, yes, it is the one about the horseman, Mrs. Irving. For this tale is the legend of Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane, and the Headless Horseman. But you know what's even scarier than all of that combined? Audience participation.
Anybody here, whether it's us or one of the characters, says, "Right, ladies," I'm going to need all the ladies to respond with "right."
Right.
All right, that was kind of weak. Let's do it again. Right, ladies?
Right.
Hey!
Right, ladies?
Right.
Perfect.
Awesome. And the same goes for us men folk. Now, anytime that either I or one of our actors says, "Right, men,"
Right.
we all say, "Right." Right, men.
Right.
Right, men.
Right.
One last time. Right, men.
Right.
Yeah. That's
All right,
good.
Perfect.